صلاة الله سلام الله على طه رسول الله صلاة الله سلام الله على ياسين حبيب الله على ياسين حبيب الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the glorious Quran Sharif, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykumus siyam, fasting has been prescribed upon you, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, as it was prescribed upon those before you, la'allakum tattaqoon. Why? So that you may gain God consciousness, so that you may be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We constantly ask, what is the wisdom of fasting? What is the benefit of fasting? And why has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to fast? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a very clear answer, that adopting fasting is a way of subduing the nafs. It is a way of subduing the passions that we have. Previous ummats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or ummats and nations of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also fasted, okay, because it was prescribed upon them as well. But then in the time of Jahiliyyah, there was also a different type of fasting where people used to fast because they were in a state of mourning. Somebody used to die and they used to mourn this person, and they used to say that we're not going to have any food because we are in a state of fast. But it wasn't regulated as what it is now. People also used to fast as a form of commemoration. When they wanted to commemorate something or someone, then they used to fast. And some people even used to fast because they used to believe when there used to be storms and thunders and natural disasters, then people used to think that the gods are angry, or the God is angry, and they fasted to ease or soothe the anger of an angry God. So this is the reasons why people used to fast in the past. But Islam, when Islam arrived, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived, Islam abolished all this, and Islam introduced a highly developed significance of fasting. And what is that significance? Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may become God-fearing, so that you may subdue your nafs, so that you may learn to generate that power to control your nafs, that power to control your passions. Because when you look at passions, passion is the root of all evil. Passion is the root. The nafs is the root of all evil. And when you can control this nafs, then half of the battle is won. And the nafs is controlled and the passion is controlled by fasting. It is regulated by fasting. Because if you look at somebody who eats too much, and somebody who drinks too much, I mean, that person, their passion will just rise to the head of that person, and it will cause such a havoc in the spiritual condition and in the spiritual state of that person. This is what happens when we overindulge, when we do not regulate our passions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the passion of man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the nafs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows very well what is its cure, or what is the medicine to regulate it, and what is the medicine to control it. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or this is one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed fasting upon us, because it regulates it, and in this way our taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala builds. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said this as well, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam spoke about marriage, and when the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam advised the youngsters that they should get married, and if they are unable to get married, then what should they do? They should fast, because it lowers the desire. It contains the desire. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So now we established that passion is the root of all evil, and it is regulated by fasting. Another reason of لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ is that it invigorates our soul. It invigorates our soul, and it awakens the soul from a lethargic state. You know, when somebody eats too much, when somebody has excessive eating and drinking, then what happens? The soul becomes dark. The soul becomes blind. It's like when you take excessive water to water the crops. You cannot water the crops with excessive water because you're going to kill the crops. So just like this, when anything is done excessively, something which is bad for your system, when something is bad for you and it is done excessively, it makes you dull. It makes you stupid. Basically, it deprives you from the power of thinking. And this is something that we should take note of. And you feel it also, especially in the month of Ramadan, when it comes to iftar time, and you overdo it at the time of iftar. And what do you feel like doing after that? You just want to go lie down. You know, Tarawih is gone also. You miss your Tarawih. You'll sleep, you'll forget about Isha also, you'll get up the next morning. You know, that is because we sometimes eat excessively. So what does the fasting do? It regulates all this. It enlivens up. It invigorates the soul. And what it also does, it keeps your belly hungry, and a hungry belly is a fountain of wisdom. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that إِذَا أَقَلَّ الرَّجُلُ الطُّعْمَ مُلِئَ جَوْفُهُ نُورًا, that when a person decreases his food, when the person eats less food, مُلِئَ جَوْفُهُ نُورًا, whatever space is still left in his stomach, even though more food was or should have gone in there, or he wanted more food to go in there, مُلِئَ جَوْفُهُ نُورًا, the rest of his tummy, the rest of his stomach is filled with the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright, so this is what happens when we fast. It regulates our passions and it invigorates our souls. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us this benefit during the month of Ramadan, that when we take cognizance of this, when we are conscious of what fasting does for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow it to have an even greater benefit for all of us. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
صلاة الله سلام الله على طه رسول الله. صلاة الله سلام الله على ياسين حبيب الله. على ياسين حبيب